And from your back, reaching from your hip joints as well, and reaching from your shoulder joints, and spreading your fingers and spreading your toes. Starting to notice the curvature of the spine. And take time to root the low back all the way into the earth. And then just continue with that as you inhale, welcoming the curvature of the spine. And as you exhale, rooting into the earth. And again, breathing, feeling the curvature. And exhale, rooting. And then just release your arms to the sides, stepping your feet to the earth. And start to rock across your hips. And you can walk your feet a little wider and start to work on the internal rotation. So the knees are dropping inward towards the midline and then to the side. Really stretching the outer edges of the hips, taking time to roll fully to the outside, massaging across your glutes. And inviting the fullness of that breath. Noticing the movement of your spine. And then crossing the hands over your shoulders, opposite shoulders, and rolling to the outer edges of your shoulders. And you might leave your head on the earth, rolling to the forehead, and the back and sides of your skull, and the sides of your shoulders. And the next time that you return to your back, take another full body stretch, everything reaching. And then interlace your fingers, placing them behind your skull. Squeeze your elbows and elevate your chin, elevate your head. Just breathing there. And see if you can really emphasize the expansion of the nostrils again. And very carefully step your feet to the earth, releasing your head back to the earth, but keeping the interlaced fingers behind your head. Walk your feet about hip-width distance and then drop the knees inward and try and root fully into your low back. And feel the lungs expanding. So left side of the rib cage, right side of the rib cage, expanding outward. And then elevate your head again. But this time try and keep your elbows out to the sides. Still maintaining a nice steady breath. And then as you release your head, you can rock your head from side to side, massaging the back of the skull again. Releasing the jaw, maybe exhaling through the mouth. And we'll pull the right knee in towards the belly, but as you're pulling the right knee in, see if you can let your left knee collapse inward. Try and relax your abdomen. And then see if you can cross your right knee over your left, letting the left knee drop inward a little bit more. You might rest your hands out to the sides. Just try and take 3 breaths here. And then slowly bringing the left knee up, uncross. And as you step your right foot back to the earth, let the right knee drop in, hugging the left knee in towards your belly. And then crossing the left knee over the right, letting the right knee drop slightly inward. Taking 3 breaths. And then returning back to center. And as you step both of your feet back to the earth, see if you can draw the knees towards the belly freely without using your hands and rock from side to side. And as you're rocking from side to side, maybe move your knees around in a circle and see if you can find the full surface of your sacrum. And you might move around in the opposite direction, massaging your low back. And we'll drop both of the knees to the right side, reaching the arms from the shoulders. And inhaling, knees back to center, dropping both knees to the left side, reaching from the shoulders. And as your knees come back, you can cross your ankles and either rolling to the side to come up or rolling along your spine. We'll make our way to tabletop. And once you arrive in tabletop, just do a few rounds of your cat-cow so you can sink your belly as you gaze forward. And then exhale as you round your spine. And just working on that, gazing forward, breathing forward, belly forward. Exhale, rounding your spine. Use your breath. And the next time you round your spine, please tuck your toes and stretch your hips up and back for your first downward facing dog. As you push your palms forward, you might shift your weight a little bit from one palm to the other, maybe micro-bending the knees, one and then the other. Just investigating the pose. And then take your time. Let's step forward to the front of the mat. Take your feet about hip-width distance. Clasp your elbows and hang really heavy. So coming into the exhalations through the mouth and releasing your jaw and your skull. Tucking your elbows behind your head, pressing into your feet and rising to standing. Reaching the hands up overhead. Exhale, take a swan dive, so arms out to the sides, and we'll step our way back to plank pose. Once you arrive in plank pose, Stretch up and back for downward facing dog. Heel toe your feet a little bit closer and start to reach your heels back. Find a steadiness in your pose, toning the abdomen, lengthening along the spine. And then shifting back to your knees, keep your palms exactly where they are. Stretch back, child's pose. And then we'll roll along the spine to an upward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog again. Send your right leg to the sky, and then step it forward. Dropping the left knee down, use your fingertips to move forward and back. And see if you can straighten your leg and take your right knee beyond your ankle. And if appropriate, you might settle one or both of your palms and start to hollow your belly or round your spine. And the next time that you lunge, see if you can elevate your left knee, make your way to your fingertips, and then rise for high lunge. Join your palms. And once you join your palms, interlace your fingers, gaze to the right side of the body, and reach to the right side. And as you make your way back to center, root your left heel down, reach to the front left corner of your mat, taking your arms like a downward facing dog, so broadening through the shoulders. Just rest your head right in between your shoulders as you lunge into the right knee. Rising for Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Pivot on the ball of your left foot, returning back to the left knee. Sweep your palms back, interlace your fingers, and open up your shoulders. Feeling the shoulders reaching away from your ears and down your back. Keep drawing the heart and sternum forward. Take 2 more breaths. And as you release your hands, reach your hands up. Start to straighten your right leg. Exhale, make your way to forward fold, either using your fingertips or your palms as you close that space in the right hip. Carefully coming back to a lunge, step forward to the front of the mat, feet are all the way together. Take a nice halfway gaze, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, making your way back to forward fold. Roll along your spine, make your way to standing, palms together, reach up. Bring your elbows down the sides. Inhale, join your palms, interlace your fingers, reach up. Taking the hands behind the head, see if you can elevate to the ball of your foot. Toning the abdomen, shifting the quads forward, keeping your gaze forward. Interlace fingers, reach up, resting your heels, make your way back to a heavy forward fold. Take a halfway gaze, lengthening through the spine. Stepping back with your right foot, drop your right knee down, and see if you can move forward and back. Again, maybe you're using your fingertips, perhaps using your palms. And the next time that your knee and ankle are in line, tuck your right toes, elevate your right knee. We'll make our way to high lunge, arms reach up. Interlacing your fingers, gazing to the left side and reaching to the left side. Releasing the hands out, we're dropping to the right heel and reaching our hands to the front right corner of the mat. Taking that modified downward facing dog and lunge. Making your way to Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Pivot on the ball of the foot, come down to the right knee. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, elbows down. Nice big inhale, reaching up. Exhale, elbows down. One more time, reaching up. Take your hands back, interlace your fingers, and open up your shoulders. Heart and sternum forward. You can slightly tuck your chin. Releasing your hands, reach your hands up, straightening your left leg, arms reach to the sky. Exhale, fingertips, maybe palms forward, folding towards your left knee. Carefully elevate your gaze. Come back to a lunge. Release your left foot. We're taking child's pose, Balasana. Roll along your spine to upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Let's take 5 full breaths. Carefully step forward with your left foot and then parallel your feet. Once you parallel your feet, rising up to standing, reach your hands up overhead. Bring your elbows down the sides. Interlace your fingers, turn your hands inside out, and reach back up overhead. Pushing into the outer edges of your feet, take a nice big breath. Try and bring your pelvis to neutralness. Pressing your palms out, let's take peace sign fingers to our big toes. So if you need to micro bend your knees to clasp your big toes, you can. But then working to broaden your shoulders and straighten your legs as much as possible. Again, focus on rooting through the outer edges of your feet. It's a wonderful time to exhale through the mouth. Try and keep your eyes open. Again, open your eyes, rooting through your feet, rising back up, arms reach up. Bringing your hands out to the side, see if you can elevate your right heel, pivot on the ball of the foot. As your legs are straight, we're going to tip ourselves over for triangle, Utthita Trikonasana. If possible, you can start to lean towards your right toe and take that peace sign finger grab, elevating your gaze either outward or towards your left palm. Try and move your pelvis forward and your shoulders back. So finding that line of energy all the way down from the crown of the head, rooting through the outer edge of your left heel. And from here, we're going to take a twist. So we're going to lunge into the right knee. Place your left palm on the inside of your right foot. As you pivot to the ball of the foot, you can reach with your right hand to the sky. And right hand returns. We're going to rise for a high lunge here. And moving from high lunge back to warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Let's take the right elbow or forearm to the right knee. Left hand travels down, forward, and in line with your left ear, gazing towards your left palm. Now try and stay low in this lunge. As you take your left hand down and back, try and reach forward with your right arm as you reach back with your left arm. Come back to peace sign fingers to your big toe. Reach to the sky with your left hand again, but then push off of your right foot, slightly straightening your right leg. So it's sort of somewhere between your triangle pose and your lunge. And then make sure you push off of your right foot. We're going to come back to center. Parallel your feet, so right toes elevate and come in. Left heel elevates now as you rotate your left heel in. Straighten your legs, arms are straight out to the sides. Tip yourself over, we're making ourselves into that form of triangle pose. Again, that might be clasping your big toe and reaching with your right hand to the sky. But again, be mindful of the line of energy. Right? Head is moving back, shoulders moving back, pelvis moving forward, rooted through the outer edge of your right foot. Feel the elevation of your right shin bone. And breathe deeply into your lungs. Taking time, rise yourself back up. We're going to bend the left knee. Left forearm comes down to the knee. Right arm reaches towards the earth, forward and in line with the right ear, gazing towards that right palm. And with no rush, again, we're pivoting on the ball of the right foot. So right hand comes down, you elevate your right heel. As you turn to the left side, left hand reaches to the sky. Stack your shoulders, squeeze in a little bit through the left inner thigh. Taking peace sign fingers back to your left big toe. Drop your right heel down. Reaching to the sky with your right hand and then push off of your left foot a little bit. So it's slightly straight but still bent in the knee. looking forward, lunge deeper, left hand forward, right arm reaching back. Pushing off your left foot, come back to straight legs. Elevate your left toes, bring them in line. So our feet are parallel again. We're a little bit wider in our pose. Hinging in your hips, bring your fingertips or palms to the earth. Relax your head. Keep your eyes open. Breathing in and out. And as you make your way back to your fingertips, we're going to elevate our heels and bring the heels in. Once you bring your heels in, bend your knees a little bit more. See if you can bring your elbows to your knees, and then sway a little bit from side to side. Make sure you're finding your feet. Feel your feet. Press into your feet, rise to standing. You have an external rotation, so toes are pointing out and heels are slightly in. Take your breath. Inhale, arms reach up. We're going to take the hands out and bend the knees. Right, hands out and bend the knees. And then rising back up, reaching forward and up. Exhale, hands out, bend your knees. Nice inhale, rising, straighten your legs, reaching up. Exhale, bend the knees. One more time. Inhale, big breath up. Exhale, coming out. From here, bring your right forearm to your knee. You're going to elevate your left heel, bring it back. We're coming back into like a side angle. So you can readjust your right foot and then reach with your left hand. So readjust your right heel inward, so that your right toes are pointing to the front of your mat. Yeah. All right. So fold forward to the inside, just like we did with our downward facing dog. You're going to elevate your left heel and see if you can push yourself back, lunging towards your left foot. Yep. And you can use your hands here and just breathe there with your hands on the ground. Some of you might come down to your forearms here. Try and keep your right toes elevated, feeling that stretch along the inner lining of your right leg. And then use your palms, right? Use your palms. We're going to travel, but we're going to allow our right foot to be parallel. So as you sit your right foot down, it's parallel. We come back to center. Our arms reach up. Both of your feet are parallel. Exhale, hands out. As you join your palms together before your heart, you're going to elevate your heels, bring your heels in, come back down to that squat. We're going to squat a little deeper this time. We're swaying from side to side. And then elevating left toes. As you elevate your left toes, you're going to push until your right leg straightens, your right heel is back. We're in an extended side angle pose. Reaching to the left side, right arm in line with your ear. All right, now listen, remember. Hands come to the inside. We elevate the right heel as we push the right heel back. We shift to the right foot. We're on the ball of the foot. Left toes are towards the sky. You can be on your palms here, maybe coming down to your forearms. And then making your way back to your palms. Remember, we're coming back to a parallel left foot, so left toes move forward. We rise back up. Make sure both of your feet are parallel to each other. Come back to standing. Inhale, arms reach up. And then we're going to bring those hands out and take our vinyasa. Left heel elevates. We rotate to the front of the mat. As you place your palms, you can step back to plank pose. And from plank pose, we'll make our way to downward facing dog. Drop down to the knees, press back, child's pose. Child's pose, moving in a cat-like back to upward facing dog. Tucking the toes, lifting your hips up and back. Let's take 5 full breaths in downward facing dog. And keeping your feet wide on your mat, drop down to the knees. See if you can release your toes and press back as much as you can. So that might just be coming to your forearms and reaching your hips back. Some of you might actually drop your hips in between your heels. If available, you're more than welcome to take your forehead towards the earth. If you want a little bit more gravity, you can take your hands and stack them on your low back as you sink into your pose. If your hands are stacked on your back, please bring them back to extending forward. Let's all rise up to tabletop. Bring your heels together, knees are still wide. Press back for child's pose again. You might be on your forearms here. You might come back down to the forehead. You might stack your hands on the small of your back. Exhale through your mouth. Feel the heaviness of your torso regardless of wherever your hands are. And however you like to make your way to seated. I like to just cross my ankles and have a seat behind my ankles, but you can move your body however is appropriate. Once you find that, take your feet wide, so your heels will be outward to the sides off your mat. You can shift your body a little bit from left to right until the bottom of your pelvis starts to move back and the top of the pelvis starts to lead or move forward. Once you find that, please come down to palms, fingertips, or forearms. Notice the internal rotation, so you can feel that your knee and your toes are starting to lead towards the midline of the body. And let the pose be passive, so no extra effort. Noticing the in-breath and the out-breath. And then slowly making your way back to an upright spine. We're going to bring our left heel in. You're going to set that down. Reaching to the sky with your hands. Rotate your torso towards your right leg and fold forward towards your right leg. And then inhale, hands reach back to the sky.
You're going to bring your elbows down the sides. As you reach up, we're going to take our left hand over to the left side. We're going to reach the right hand over towards the right foot. Swing it in front of you and see if you can elevate your hips, reaching your right arm in line with your right ear. And then carefully hinging in your hips, you reach your right hand forward, come back to seated. Once you come back to seated, we'll just swap out our feet. Your right heel is in now and your left leg is extended outward. Reaching to the sky with your arms when you're ready. Rotate your torso towards your left leg and carefully forward fold. And as you come back to center, you're going to reach your hands up. Bring those elbows down the sides. As you rest your right palm, notice we're using our left hand for a little bit of momentum and leverage. We reach it forward and lift ourselves up. Left arm is in line with your ear. Reaching there, breathing there. And it's also your helper as you come back, so you can reach forward, hinge in your hips, and make your way back to seated. Let's cross our left ankle in front of our right ankle, and then just moving forward, swaying from side to side. So you're sort of leaning to the left side and then leaning to the right side. And once you come back to center, again, however you like to move your body, I'm just going to roll right over my ankles. We're making our way to tabletop pose. From tabletop pose, you're making your way to downward facing dog. Pressing through your palms, reaching your hips to the sky, lengthening along the spine. Pushing forward into plank pose. Drop down to the knees, move straight into upward facing dog. Again, tuck your toes, reach your hips up and back for downward facing dog. We're going to take our right leg high to the sky. Bring the right knee forward. And take a moment to extend your left leg back. We're making our way to pigeon pose. So that might be being on your palms. You might come down to your forearms. You might take your hands forward, coming down to your forehead. Let's take 5 breaths once you arrive. Slowly, as you exhale, invite your palms back. We're tucking our left toe and crossing the right knee in front of the left knee. Try and take your right heel towards your left hip as you root back into your left heel. And then step your right foot forward. As you shift your weight to your fingertips, see if you can elevate your left leg. Maybe bringing your hands together before your heart, breathing there. And we'll carry ourselves to standing. Setting the left foot down, inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, swan dive, make your way to forward fold. Inhale, halfway gaze. Stepping back for plank pose. From plank pose, drop down to the knees. Press back, child's pose. Make your way to upward facing dog. From upward facing dog, make your way to downward facing dog. Left leg high. Drawing the left knee forward. Extending the right leg back. Take a breath and then settle in your version of pigeon pose. Palms, forearms, maybe reaching the hands forward. And then walking your hands back. As you tuck your right toes, we're crossing our left knee in front of our right knee. Try and root back into the right heel as much as you can. And then carefully stepping forward with your left foot. As you shift your weight to your fingertips, you can elevate your right leg, lengthening through your spine, breathing in and out. Bringing your right foot back to center. Set your right foot to the earth. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heavy forward fold. Clasp your elbows. Exhale through your mouth. Tucking the elbows behind your head and inhale, press into your feet, rise up. Arms reach to the sky, gazing upward. Exhale, swan dive. Shifting to the ball of your foot. Maybe bringing your hands together before your heart. And then as you reach forward, you can have a seat. And we'll come all the way down to our back and take a nice full body stretch. Arms and legs reaching. Taking time to step your right foot to the outside of your left leg. And then walk your left leg over to the right corner of your mat. Continuing to reach with your hands, interlace your fingers. Take your arms to the sky. Nudge your shoulders to the right corner of your mat, and then reach your arms in line with your ears. Making your way back to center, arms down, head back to center, legs back to center. Reaching for a full body stretch. Taking time to step your right foot back to the earth for a moment. Take your hands down to the sides. Cross your left ankle over your right knee, and then when you're ready, elevate your hips. Returning to your back, unwind your legs, take a full body stretch. Stepping your left foot to the earth, crossing the right ankle over the left knee, taking your hands in length, and then pressing your palms to the sides. When you're ready, nice big breath. Elevate your hips. Take one more breath. And then very slowly, return to your back. Release your arms, release your legs, full body stretch. Stepping your left foot to the outside of your right leg. Carry your right foot to the left corner. Interlace your fingers, reach your hands to the sky. Walk your head and shoulders to the left corner of your mat, and then return the arms in line with your ears. And once the arms return to the sides, move your head and shoulders back, stretch both of your legs out. Make sure your feet are a little wider than your hips. Let your palms face up and open. And settle into your breath. So in this moment, just stillness. A very conscious release to the top of the head, the sides of the head, the back of your skull. Releasing all expression from your face. Release your jaw, release your tongue, release your eyes. And feel the shoulders relax, the heaviness of the arms as you release the center of your palms. Releasing along the spine. Let your shoulder blades settle more fully to the earth. And the back of your hips, heavy as can be. The front of your hips, relaxing towards the back. And the muscles of your legs release. Feeling the heaviness of the bones themselves. Notice and release your ankles and the bottom of your feet. And let your breath settle. Sinking into the body and releasing into the breath. are more than welcome to remain as you are. Otherwise, please stimulate your breath. And begin to very slowly move your head. And move your fingers and your wrists. A welcoming gradual movement to your ankles and your toes. Taking time to walk your feet together and invite a full body stretch. And as you release your hands to the side, you can step your feet to the earth and rock your knees from side to side. And then rolling to whichever side suits your practice today. And eventually making your way to some kind of seat. And once you arrive in the center of your seat, close your eyes and invite your hands together before your heart. Thankful for the practice that always serves you when you are present to the breath. And honoring the great connectedness of all of life. I thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.